You can do the obvious, the generic holiday greetings, what everyone gets, but customers truly appreciate and recognize when it's something that they can tell it's like you've been listening, you've been paying attention. I had this former client in a previous role where we used to always have fun before meetings, and we'd kick it off with just little light icebreakers. And one of the icebreakers that we led with was like, what's your favorite type of jelly or jam? Dumb question when you think about it, but it leads to fun conversation. And so I told everyone, like, I love huckleberry jam.
Initiating becoming a hiring machine sequence in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Keenly, and welcome to Becoming a Hiring Machine. This is the show dedicated to fixing recruitment by going beyond saying what needs to change and instead teaches you how to make that change. Today, we have a great Tactical Tuesday ahead of us, but before we get into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about the show. Essentially, we have shows within the show here. Some days we have interviews with industry thought leaders and others we're shaking up the space, while other days we cover trending topics, items that recruiters are talking about or will be very soon and what those mean for them. Every Tuesday like today, drop by for a Tactical Tuesday episode where we go deep on how to do something that's going to help you drive better results in your day-to-day. Sometimes we open it up for Q&A. Listeners can drop in questions that they'd like to hear us take on, so send those to us at podcast@loxo.co. And every now and then, you'll hear a mic drop episode from Matt where he stops by to share something that he's been thinking about within the recruitment space and wants you to know. All right, today's Tactical Tuesday. The holidays are rapidly approaching. Thanksgiving is even a few days away by the time that this episode goes live. And because I am a huge nerd, I wanted to look and I typed into Google, how many business days are left in this year? There's 26. There are 26 business days left in this year, and that's assuming that you're a robot and you aren't taking any additional time off, which we know most of you will be, us included. So in the spirit of the holidays, today we want to get tactical on how to not only show your thanks and gratitude to your clients, but how it can also help inform some potential offers for you to expand into next year. So on that note, let's jump into it with at this point, I'm just going to call you our Tactical Tuesday co-host because you're literally the person that's here every Tuesday with me. Vivien, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Sam. Yay, I
Yeah.
got promoted.
Yes, the official podcast promotion, doing it live. So yeah, all the excitement. So yeah, in spirit of Thanksgiving, you and I were talking a little bit about how can you do things like to show a thank you to your existing clients. So let's talk about like some small things that anyone could do, and then we can get into some of the other items like potential offers down the line. But from your point of view, like what are some of the small thank yous that you think, anyone could do that are pretty easy and go a long way?
I mean, the standard one is always those like thank you emails with like holiday cards, maybe customize it a little bit with like your agency's branding, maybe target it a little bit more specific to your niche, make it a little bit funny, maybe like a cute little holiday video that you send out in a mass email. But those are so like generic and easy. Everybody kind of does them. You get them like as part of like a newsletter of like, thanks for being a value customer this year and all that kind of stuff. So this isn't like, it's appreciated, and obviously it's common courtesy. Like at this point, you have to do this. But at the same time, this is a great opportunity for you to kind of figure out how to stand out from like the rest. And so one thing that actually you did here at Loxo is to kind of send out cookies to customers as well as
Yes.
t-shirts. And I think that's like a really great way, and kind of doing something that is a little bit more like custom to what your like customers to kind of like show, hey, this is like, I know you, I've been listening to you. And this is kind of my way of showing you I have been listening to you. I know what you're like talking about. You actually have a really great story that you need to retell here.
Yeah, no, it's to your point of, you can do the obvious, the generic holiday greetings with that little animation twinkle email that everyone gets, but customers truly appreciate and recognize when it's something that they can tell it's like you've been listening, you've been paying attention, that you do care about that relationship with them. And so I had this former client in a previous role where we used to always have fun before meetings, and we'd kick it off with just little light icebreakers. And one of the icebreakers that we led with was like, what's your favorite type of jelly or jam? Like, dumb question when you think about it, but it leads to fun conversation. And so I told everyone, like, I love huckleberry jam. I'm located on the East Coast. So whenever I got out to the West Coast once in the Pacific Northwest, I had it. I was like, this is the best thing ever, but I can't get it here. Fast forward about a year and a half later, they were no longer a client of ours, but one of the members came into town where I was living, and he's like, hey, let's catch up for a drink or coffee somewhere. Let me know where, and we can do that. So show up to this coffee shop and he is sitting there with a big grin on his face and he's holding up this jar of huckleberry jam. And again, this was like years later and I'm just laughing, but that was one of those things that like it cost him probably what, $5-10 at the most to do that, but it goes such a long way. So pay attention with your customers or clients, like ask questions, understand things that they like, they appreciate, they enjoy, and spending $10 on that will go a lot farther than, $100 cheese board that they're just like, oh, great. It's like a cheese board or something. So those little things, that's where it's like, don't put all of the weight on the financial value of it. If there's a way that you can go in a little bit closer to show like, hey, I'm really glad that we have this relationship, that we're working together. I see this as a good partnership. So that type of experience can work really well.
Definitely. And when you're working with like hiring managers, like don't be afraid to like make it a little bit more personal, talk about like different things that you're going through and kind of figure out what's going on in their lives, because everybody's human. And that can also kind of strengthen that relationship to prevent ghosting from happening and things like that, because you've built that basic trust and you have made that human connection. Because a lot of times we live in such a connected and digital world that you can literally work from anywhere with anybody, and you don't even have to be in the same time zone. You don't have to be in the same state, continent. And so one way to really connect on a more human level is to get more personal, and get some huckleberry jam, for example, and so little things like that, just kind of having these like more personal conversations and starting out any kind of call with like icebreakers like you suggested, or just like, how's life been going? Like, I feel like you've been incredibly busy. I want to be of like help in any way or form, like what's going on in your life, like how are you actually doing? And this is where even just talking about like weekend plans and things like that, this is where you can dig up a couple of like things of like, what are your like people that you're working with really into, and like keep track of that, because then you can kind of use that and really show your gratitude that you have been really listening to them, that you really value them, that this isn't just transactional to like cash in a paycheck, make a placement and things like that, but that you really do value them as humans, and that you're listening, and that you're human just as much as they are. And a great way of doing that is to kind of like have a little bit of banter, like have some fun and have some good conversations and buy some jam.
Yeah, I love it. So once you get past some of those personal items, if you do want to also think about how can I help you help your business, what are some other types of items? I know you've got a few ideas for what you could do to them to help with your skill set, with your experience relative to something for them.
Yeah. I think this year was a big year for the recruiting industry, and realizing that maybe we need a couple of other offerings, and not just recruitment, and also kind of create more value when it comes to business development. To not just have, I think a lot of agencies realized permanent placements are not everything, because this year contract staffing became really big. And so this is where ideally you would have been doing business development for contract staffing ahead of time. But even now it became such a competitive space so quickly with contract staffing specifically, that there are other things that you can offer as a recruitment agency, because you are in that kind of market. So for example, if you have a couple of hiring managers that are really struggling with actually interviewing candidates well to figure out whether they're a good fit, and feel them out on this one. And this needs to be like a solid relationship before you offer this, but you could kind of offer like a free like mini service as an act of like gratitude. And one of them could be like an interview coaching session, and packaging it as kind of like what are some like top secret interviewing skills that hiring managers can have to really identify the top talent, and what are the markers of top talent and things like that. Because as a recruiter, you talk to so many candidates, you get like a sense for, is this person going to be a good fit? Is this person like full of it and just kind of making stuff up? Like, have they been chatting with ChatGPT? And so there is a level of discernment that you'll learn as a recruiter. The longer you do this, the more you talk to people. And this is something that you can then actually pass on to your hiring managers. And so if this is someone you've been working with that has been struggling with interviews, this can be one way where you kind of add value and are like, hey, as a thank you, I want to offer you a consultative like service, totally free of charge. We'll take like about like an hour of your time or something like that. We can do interview coaching. If you would like to, we can also do an employee satisfaction survey to see what's actually going on in your team. Keep it obviously completely anonymous, and then figure out how can we actually rebrand your company and make it really attractive to the talent pool. Because when you know what your employees actually value, that is super valuable because they know what it is that they appreciate about working at your company or what are some areas of improvement. And this helps you retain your talent so that you don't have to deal with turnovers and things like that. And on the other hand, you know exactly what to pitch so that any incoming candidate that is interviewing for your position can know exactly what it's like to work there. And if this is a perfect match, then obviously this is great. Another one is kind of doing a little bit of like a culture audit at the company. Every company has certain values, and those values are reflected in how people are actually working. And so if you value accountability and things like that, then obviously that means everybody needs to be coming in on time. So then is everybody actually coming in on time? Is everybody doing their actual work, or is there like some kind of imbalance? And so those are little things that you could do. And the last one that I kind of have is do a little like webinar very specific to your niche if you have one. Because you talk to so many talents and candidates that are really at the top of their game, you kind of get like really interesting industry insights of like what's going on behind the scenes. What are some like hidden nooks and crannies that could be really beneficial to all of your clients, and do like a little webinar kind of going through some of the things that you have been hearing through the grapevine. And it's all about just kind of like saying thank you and adding value. And if this is a legitimate service that you're actually building out, this is a little snack that they can get. And if they like the snack, they will come back for the big package.
I love it. Come back for the whole turkey. Yeah.
Yep.
So with that webinar, and a great thing to do is in today's culture, especially, you know, not all your customers will be able to make it. And that's completely okay. Record it, send it to them, still give it to them as a thank you. You know, hey, we've got all these great insights. Just want to package this up and give it to you after, you know, I'm working with you all, but also a number of other organizations. And here's what I've learned. Again, that's going to be incredibly invaluable to them. So phenomenal ideas here. We wanted to make it a quick hitter today, as I'm sure many people are traveling on the roads to different destinations for Thanksgiving. So hope everyone has, you know, a safe travel, a good holiday, a safe holiday. Thankful for you all for listening to this, especially when you're spending time with friends, family, and others. So Vivien, as always, appreciate you coming on today to share your different knowledge about this, and hope that it inspires some recruiters to be a little bit more thankful, grateful, and start to think about some of these different ways that they can thank their own customers as well moving forward. All right. Well, that does it for today. Becoming a Hiring Machine is a production of Loxo. You can find the show notes in the description of your favorite podcast streaming platform, as well as on our website at loxo.co/podcast. Have the full video. Those video episodes are available on YouTube as well as on our website. And if you have a specific question, something you ever want to hear us take on, send those to us at podcast@loxo.co. So everyone, that's the show. Another great Tactical Tuesday. Until next time.
Bye, everyone.